Good afternoon, YouTube. This is a follow-up. Some of you guys have been waiting for a follow-up on the Joseph Teti saga, and I'm just going to flat out call it what it is. He's a poser, he's a liar, he's a fraud and a fake. He lost his lawsuit uh, and dropped it. You know, he couldn't prove that his combat dive papers weren't forged because General Guest came into the courthouse and he testified that he never signed those documents and that he wasn't even the general at the time. It was 2 years later that he became general, and that those documents are forged. So Teti lied. He lied about a bunch of stuff, but Cody Lundin is now suing him, suing Discovery Channel for their complicity. They made Cody look like a fool, like he was the psychotic one, and he'd been threatened numerous times by Joseph, at least 2 to 3, and Discovery Channel covered it up. So, okay, but I'm going to let you know, I called the fool out, and I'll keep calling him out, and here's the funny part. He now posts fake profiles, deliberately coming after me with the attempt to scare me like it's going to work. It doesn't work. Toto, you're an idiot. But, okay, I'll give you a little history. I did a video, the follow-up video, Joseph Teti saga, and a guy comes on there named Rich Pieta, who's a bodybuilder, so we know it's not Rich because Rich would never even get involved in this and sure as heck wouldn't use his name. So it says Rich Pieta cruising in my Chevy Genova, okay? And then claims to be some sort of, what do you want to call it, private investigator. It's Joe. Come on. You're a fool. You're an idiot anyway. But you're even a fool to think anybody's going to believe this. Then I copied, and here's 3 pages of his little comments to me. And I'm going to read them off to you, and I just want you guys to see the level of psychosis with this idiot. It's almost amusing. He does a Google search on my house, probably paid $30 to do a background check on me and my wife. It's comical at best, but let me give you I'll read this off to you. You guys decide for yourself if this isn't some psycho whacked out nut job. It says, from Rich Piena, P-I-A-N-A, cruising in my Chevy Genova, to Mark A. Novi, or BSN or BSR, whichever works best. I find it funny that you happen to look like Joe Teti, and what I believe is your real issue with Joe is that you're pissed that a guy with similar skills as you and looks similar to yours got a chance on TV, and on a TV show, and you didn't. Trust me, I'm no Teti fan, but what you need to remember is that people that watch Dual Survival aren't your everyday living off the land kind of folks that are just the average American dipshit that like good TV and personality to match. Yeah, they could easily find a guy with more knowledge than Joe, but the trade-off would be he'd probably have a personality like yours, which is about as exciting as watching a baking show, and whether you like it or not, Joe had the perfect personality to fit what the American audience asked for. I didn't make up the rules, I just understand what's good for business is good for business. You should know that because I would bet that Don Shepard would have some pretty bad things to say about you. For a guy born in 1968, and yes, I left the 0 there for a reason, don't you find it embarrassing to still get in trouble for driving on a suspended license at your age? And I wonder if your subscribers knew you were on probation just a few years ago. See, it's no fun having someone talk shit about you, is it? Well, at least I'm not saying about you is true, and I know that because of what I do for a living, and you're more than welcome to check my Google Plus page for that info. Okay, and then it keeps going on. Let's see. You should know what you're talking about before you open your mouth, kind of like your old lady should have done during her divorce battle with her ex-husband, Stephen. Now, refrain from using her name in the meantime, but your future actions will determine my future actions. This isn't to intimidate you or scare you, but more or less to tell you to find something better to do with your time. Joe never claimed to be a U.S. military veteran. Also, all he claimed was to have fought beside them while he was a contractor in Iraq. I give him the fact that Discovery worded it very close to as close to as they could to make it a scene like he was acclaimed, but it wasn't. Do yourself a favor in the YouTube search box, type these words and I'll put parentheses, Discovery backs Joseph Clay Tame 20-year vet. Blah, blah, blah. You're a liar, dude. And pay attention closely, and you'll see that he never claims U.S. military service, and when he states combat veteran, they aren't able to get away with the terminology because he's a veteran of combat, meaning he has been in combat many times, just like any other civilian contractor fighting in the Middle East. They are all technically combat veterans. Again, I don't agree with how it's sneakily worded, but regardless, it was within the law and it's not stolen valor. What you have done is slandered a man without knowing what the fuck you are talking about. It's a weak man's way of internet bullying, in which I love to play that game with you and see how much you like it. Balls in your court, buddy. You need to issue an apology video again and then cut the bullshit. This has nothing personally to do with Joe, as I don't give two fucks about the guy, but if I was him and didn't have the resources to retaliate like I do, I would hope that a man would come to my defense, especially since you and all the other trolls are fucking with his livelihood, meaning his income. You wouldn't be happy if someone started fucking with Mrs. Riley Novi's or your income. Okay, that's just one. Let me go in to explain this to you guys. In Illinois, if you get 3 tickets within a year, it doesn't matter for what, speeding tickets, and all mine were speeding tickets up in Chicago, they suspend your license. They don't even tell you they suspend it. They don't really care. You just send out notices, which is amusing. So I get pulled over by a state trooper for doing, 75 and a 55, and he goes, Mark, sorry, dude, but you're on a suspended license, so we have to arrest you. No big deal. Don't really give a damn. Judge put me on probation for the final 2 months until my suspension was over, and blah, 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 get on back to doing whatever you were doing. That's what he's talking about, my long criminal history. Oh my God, this guy is amazing. Then he goes on to talk about my wife. Or first he hits Don Shepard would have a lot of things to say about you. Yeah, Don Shepard was a contractor I sued for almost $3,000 for ripping me off during the construction of my home, where he stole a bunch of material from me, returned it, got the money back, and it was material I had paid for. I sued him, I won. It took him 2.5 years to pay me back, and 3 trips to court to get him to pay me back. So yeah, I'm sure Don wouldn't have anything nice to say about me, as the fact that he lost a civil case. Then he goes on to talk about my wife. So that's a basic, here's a basic Google search for you. And then you pay a little bit of money to find out, okay, who's he married to? What's he up to? Where's she from? What's her addresses? And then start throwing it out like it's an intimidation thing. Funny, you're amusing at best. And then you're going to talk about where she lived and who she was married to, which is common knowledge, divorce papers. Kids a rat's ass, dude. You are pathetic. You are a fucking pathetic piece of shit. You think I'm going to apologize? So obviously you watched one of my other videos where I apologize for shooting arrows at your picture. Believe me, dickhead, this is not an apology. I'm laughing at you. You're a jagoff. Okay, that's just one. Then he goes on to attack one of my friends, Monique Marie, because she came to my defense, and he says, glad to see that I am good at my job. Anytime someone accuses me of being someone else is a sign that I'm doing a great job, so thank you. Do you think Joe would ever waste his time doing shit like this? I like to do it because there's nothing better than slowly owning a motherfucker that thinks that they can do whatever they would like and have no consequences. And I personally don't know Joe, but he did have a part in getting a buddy of mine a job at the National Security Agency. If I can lend a hand, why not? What you need to understand is that putting a fake profile and setting your settings to private only hide you from those who don't want to find you. I, on the other hand, have access to everything you've done down to your last text message. All I need to do is make a phone call. Be very careful not to get yourself into something you can't get out of. You're more than welcome to try me if it didn't work out so well for the last 32 people. This guy's comical. This is funnier than hell, okay? Then Monique comes back and says, you're not even worth responding to. I'll do it just this one time because I need to tell you to do a better job at making a fake profile. For God's sake, you can't fool a man doing life on death row into believing you're a woman. I mean, come on. There isn't a woman on earth who would post Joe Teddy material nonstop on the web. And if there is, I'd never want to see her. I couldn't imagine how nasty that beaver would be on that type of mongrel. But hey, I gotta give you some props because you've managed to fool 719 idiots into thinking you're a knockout babe because they subscribe only because they thought you were a lady. Because it definitely wasn't your grade A choice uploading that, did it? Come on. Now, Bruce Jenner, just show yourself and tell us it's you. Okay, and I told him, I said, I went back and I said, you're a friggin' idiot. You're doing a Google search and this is the best you can come up with? I said, my wife even thinks you're a fucktard, quite honestly. She said, he's a fucktard. You know, this is basic Google stuff with maybe a $30 background check. And okay, so he comes back and he goes, Mark Novi, laugh my ass off. Funny fucktard is the best that Miss Woodruff can come up with. Tell her I liked her sense of humor better when I was boinking her when she lived off of Crestview. She was much funnier then, and maybe that's because she was still a Kozak and hadn't passed around the city yet. And Mark, be careful. She tends to want to wear the pants in the family, and she will take over all the painting and decor decisions, and you'll end up with a red porch, which I have one. It's brick red. Before you know it. It's quite amusing watching such a man hunter-gatherer type getting run by his old lady in the house. Of course she isn't working. How could she find time to work when she's busy taking cock on the tracks behind your house while you bust your ass at work? I ran into Mary at the store for shits and giggles, and I asked her, Miss Cossack, how's Belinda, and who's she married to these days? Poor old mama said she couldn't keep track of her and all the men she sleeps with. I held it in until I got in the car, but boy, I did have a laugh then. Mark, you should really invest in adding an addition to your garage. No self-respecting hunter, woodsman, whatever, want a one-car shop. Fuck, I could barely fit my car in there the other day. It was a close call too. Belinda texted me and said you came home about 5 minutes after I left. I think I owe you a light bulb too, because I may have busted the one on the light pole as I was backing out of the driveway. Oh, P.S. I'll give you a hint. It's an easy way to catch your old lady is to look at the fireplace. I might have thrown a few things in there, and if you haven't started a fire yet, there still might be there. Don't be mad at her. That's just the price of having a wife that was born damn near in the 80s. This guy's comical. I don't run my shop out of my garage. It's just a place to store tools. My house is really huge, but you see, he mentioned additions. Okay, yeah, there's additions because Google hasn't updated its aerial maps in like 6 years. I don't know about the light pole, Joe. That's just kind of reaching there, but okay, that's great. You're going to talk about my wife. You're going to talk about Mary. Do you realize that Mary's 6'3"? She would probably kick the living shit out of you if you talked about her daughter, which is funny. But if you came up to her and said, how's Belinda? She'd be like, the fuck are you? You don't know my mother-in-law. She's one badass woman. And you wouldn't just run into her. She works all the time, so unless you know where she works, good luck on that one. But my fireplace, 36 feet in the air, guys. He threw some shit up in my fireplace. All this is done by aerial, okay? I'm gonna turn you around. I'm gonna show you my house. I don't give a flying fuck. He forgot to mention my other addition on the side of the house because it's not on Google Maps yet. Doesn't mention anything that's in my yard except for a light bulb in front of my house with a brick porch. Now, if you go on Google Maps, you can hit my address and you can pan around a little bit, which is, you know, that's what you do. You pan and you look at the house. But, you know, this guy thinks he's that comical. Joe, or whoever you are, Rich Piana, cruising my Chevy Genova. If that's how you're going to intimidate me into saying that Joe isn't a poser, fraud, and liar, good luck on that one. Come and get some. Joe, you're a fraud, a phony, a liar. You forged your dive papers. General Guest wasn't even the general at the time. You lost your lawsuit. Cody Lundin is going to own Discovery Channel. They're going to have to pay that man out. This is just 3 pages, you know, and I get these all the time. I told you, don't be keyboard commando. Come to my house and do something. You're a phony. You're a fraud. You are not a combat veteran of 20 years. I don't care what this idiot says. Guys, go look it up. It all just so you know, it's all right here. Page after page of this idiot telling me what he's gonna do and everything else. I'm not worried about you. You're a joke. And now I hope everybody that reads this, like I said, guys, if you want any information about me, I give it to you. Yes, I hunt, I fish, I trap. I do live by railroad tracks. This is not common. That's why I'm filming this right here. This is funny. I'm gonna show you my house, okay? So you won't be confused when you see it, okay? This is my home. All right, my pool. He's talking about my garage up there. Okay. See, here, Jojo, you missed that side edition right there. Oh, by the way, that's my bathroom up there. It's 8 by 21 foot. My house is a little over, it's 5,885 square feet. 6 bedroom, 3 bath, but I'm the idiot who's not living with my girlfriend. He lives with his girlfriend. He's broke, okay? If this is the type of intimidation and this is the best that this idiot can do, come over here. I just showed you everything that you want to see. So, you know where I live. You got my address. Won't give you my phone number because I don't need you harassing me, but, you know, it's kind of comical. I own the business, so my wife doesn't have to work, you stupid dope. Not to mention, she has her own line of business. It's paying for her Mercedes GL 450 out there. So I guess she's doing better than you. Have a nice day, guys. You figure it out. Is he a moron? Is he I mean, just a complete whack job? Apparently he likes to threaten other people, and he threatened me too. And I'm not gonna ever apologize for calling you out as an idiot.